He saved their world more times than they could count. But one mistake changed everything. The Avengers didn't debate his fate, they voted. And Earth's strongest hero was cast into the stars. Captain America looked away. Thor didn't speak. Only Hulk protested, but it was too late. Now, far beyond the sun, Superman waits. And he just heard what's about to happen to Earth. They said Superman would never fall, that he would never crack, that no matter what, Earth's last line of defense would always be on the right side of history. But they were wrong. It started with a flash in the sky, a blue streak tearing through orbit like a wrathful comet. Superman was faster than the SWRD satellites could track, faster than Thor's lightning, faster than reason. The Kree warship never had a chance. A single blow, like a falling god, ripped through the hull. The explosion lit up the night sky above New York like a second sun. Everyone cheered, until they didn't. Because what Superman didn't know, what no one had told him, was that the warship wasn't carrying weapons. It was carrying diplomats, protected envoys under a peace treaty just signed with Earth. A fragile alliance built over months of negotiation shattered in a single punch. Within hours, news networks turned the symbol of hope into a threat. Words like reckless, unprovoked, and war criminal trended across every screen. The United Nations demanded accountability. SWRD distanced themselves. The Justice League went silent. And the Avengers? They met. Inside Stark Tower, the vote wasn't just about justice, it was about fear. Tony was the first to speak, eyes dark, his voice colder than Jarvis ever sounded. He's too powerful. We've known it for years. One wrong move, and this planet becomes a crater. Banner, sitting far from the group, barely contained his rage. He saved us. All of us. You think he'd be sitting here if he didn't stop Doomsday last year? Or Zod before that? Steve Rogers stood silently, arms folded, torn. He'd fought beside Clark, trusted him. But trust wasn't a shield anymore. We're not talking about whether he's a hero, Natasha said sharply. We're talking about whether Earth can survive another mistake like this. Thor, leaning on Mjolnir, said nothing. The room fell into uneasy silence. The vote was cast. Tony voted Exile. Natasha, yes. Bruce, no. Thor abstained. And Steve looked away. It was enough. They called it a containment protocol. They used strange magic, Stark's tech, and a bit of Wakandan vibranium to craft a singularity field strong enough to trap a god. They didn't tell Superman. They didn't give him a chance to speak, because deep down they were afraid that if he knew, he might not let them finish the spell. When it happened, he was standing at the Fortress of Solitude, staring at a hologram of Krypton, eyes tired, heart heavier than ever. The air shimmered. A golden circle began to glow beneath his feet. A soft hum, then silence. He didn't fight. In fact, he barely moved. He just whispered, "So it's true." The next moment, he was gone. Thrown not into the Phantom Zone, not into a prison, but to the far edge of the solar system, orbiting a dead moon without sunlight. Kryptonian cells fading slowly. No yellow sun. No energy. Just endless silence. Earth moved on, or at least pretended to. The media spun the story as a strategic relocation. They said Superman had gone on a mission, that he was somewhere watching over them. A lie told to keep the people from panicking. But the heroes knew, and guilt eats even the strongest alive. Steve began skipping meetings. Thor returned to Asgard. Bruce retreated into his lab. Only Tony stood firm. "We did what had to be done," he said in interviews. No one is above consequence, not even gods. But late at night, even Stark couldn't sleep, because Earth was safer without Superman until it wasn't. Something was coming. Whispers of a hybrid threat, Red Skull armed with alien biotech. Loki spotted near ancient ley lines. A new force building somewhere in the dark corners of the multiverse. The kind of threat that didn't just require teamwork, it required hope. The kind of hope that wore a red cape. And he was gone. Back on the frozen rock, Superman didn't speak. Days blurred into months. His once sharp vision dulled. The stars looked dimmer now. He tried not to think about the vote, about the people he saved, about Bruce, about Lois. But every once in a while, he would hear something. Not sound, something deeper, a feeling. He felt fear from Earth, and something else, regret. The world didn't know it yet, but it had made the worst decision in its history. Superman was gone, exiled, forgotten by the same heroes who once stood beside him in battle. And now, the cracks were starting to show. The first attack came quietly. A SW research base in the Arctic went dark. No distress call, no energy signature, just silence. By the time a team of Avengers arrived, it wasn't a base anymore, just a crater filled with black ash and twisted metal. Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, hovered above the wreckage, scanning. No radiation, no survivors, no signs of who did this. But they were being watched. Across the galaxy, in the shadow of a dying star, Red Skull stood beside Loki and a figure cloaked in shadow. Earth has no guardian, Red Skull grinned. Now it belongs to the gods who remember how to rule. And Earth didn't see it coming. Cities started falling one by one, not in flames, but in confusion. Communications disrupted. SHIELD satellites blinked offline. Mutant safe zones disappeared from radar. Then came the real message. A broadcast hijacked every screen on the planet. Red Skull clear and smug to the people of Earth. Your defenders betrayed their strongest protector. And now, you'll learn what it means to live without him. The people panicked. The illusion broke. Whispers spread. Where is Superman? But no answer came. In the tower, the Avengers regrouped. Tension like steel cables ready to snap. We need a plan, Tony muttered, pacing. If this is what I think it is, they're not just trying to conquer. They're trying to break morale. Bruce looked pale. We already did that when we exiled him. Enough, Steve snapped. We made a decision. We live with it. But Thor stepped forward, voice low, almost ashamed. We did not decide. We chose fear. And now the 9 realms tremble. Silence. Then, a quiet ping echoed through the room. A signal from a place no one dared check. A solar tracker from the far side of the system. One of Tony's hidden satellites. He's alive. The screen showed faint vitals. Heartbeat slow, but steady. Superman was still breathing, barely. No movement in days. No response. Tony swallowed. We could bring him back. But Steve shook his head. If we do that now, we admit we were wrong. We undermine the council. Everything we stood for. Bruce slammed his fist down. What we stood for doesn't matter if Earth burns. Still no one moved. Not even when Wakanda was attacked. Not even when Strange was pulled into a mirror dimension by a new, unknown magic user. Not even when SHIELD reported a breach at the Baxter building, and Reed Richards was declared missing. Each battle drained the world's hope. Bit by bit, they lost ground. People began wearing the Superman symbol again, not as a sign of support, but as a plea. Bring him back. The final straw came when Hulk fell. During a desperate attempt to defend a refugee outpost in Madripoor, Hulk was ambushed by Loki and an army of genetically enhanced soldiers. The Avengers arrived too late. They found Banner unconscious, body bruised in a way that shouldn't even be possible. On the wall, written in blood-red ink, were just 3 words. Where's your God? That night, Tony stood alone in the war room, staring at the last image of Clark on that distant moon. Sunlight barely touching the edge of his cape. Motionless, dying. I was wrong, he whispered. He didn't call the others. Didn't wait for votes. He just acted, using every resource left. Wakandan tech, Stark nanites, strange broken relics. He built a gateway strong enough to pierce the exile field. And, alone, he stepped through. On the other side, he didn't see the Superman he remembered. Clark Kent stood there, barely upright. Skin pale, eyes sunken. But there was no rage, no fire, just silence. You came to finish it? Superman asked, voice dry like wind. Tony took off his helmet. I came to say sorry. Clark's eyes narrowed. That's not enough. Tony didn't argue. He just lowered his head. We need you. The world's falling apart. You were right. We were scared, and we betrayed you because of it." Superman didn't answer. He turned toward the faint glow of a distant sun. And then something changed. The light hit his chest, not much, but enough. The S began to shimmer. His shoulders straightened. Breath deepened. Bones healing. Blood warming. "I'll help," he said, "but I'm not coming back for them." Tony looked up. "Then, who are you coming back for?" Clark's eyes glowed faintly now. "The people. Just them." Superman didn't return as a savior. He returned as a warning. The sky above Earth changed the moment he crossed the atmosphere. Satellites malfunctioned. Storms formed without clouds. Every sensitive instrument on the planet reacted like something ancient had awakened. People looked up, not knowing why their chests felt heavy, why the air felt charged. Tony felt it first. He was still in the suit, barely holding together after the jump back from Exile, when the alarm screamed. Not invasion alarms, not hostile detection, something worse. "Energy spike, no multiple spikes," Friday said. "Global scale." Tony already knew. His hands trembled. "He's here." Superman didn't announce himself. No sonic boom, no thunderclap. He simply appeared, hovering miles above the planet, cape unmoving, eyes closed. For a moment, he listened. Fear, panic, lies, and anger. Below him, the invasion accelerated. Red Skull's forces emerged from hidden gates across the globe. Cities fell into chaos. Governments collapsed in hours. Loki's illusions turned allies against each other. A dark presence loomed behind it all, watching, waiting, learning. The Avengers were losing. Steve bled on the streets of Berlin. S.H.I.E.L.D. cracked for the first time in his life. Thor was buried beneath a collapsed mountain in Norway, lightning flickering weakly from the rubble. Natasha vanished mid-mission. Strange was still missing. Banner hadn't woken up since Madripoor. And Superman saw all of it. He moved. Not like before. No speeches. No hesitation. Just precision. A fleet over Tokyo vanished in seconds. Ships frozen midair, then gently lowered into the ocean, powerless. In Lagos, soldiers found their weapons dismantled in their hands. In New York, Loki felt a presence behind him and froze. "You should have stayed gone," Loki said, forcing a grin. Superman looked at him, not angry, not furious, disappointed. Loki was gone before the word left his mouth, dropped into a containment cell built from his own magic, sealed so perfectly even he couldn't understand it. Red Skull watched from his command chamber, smile tightening. Good. Let him come. They wanted this. Superman reached Berlin seconds before Steve collapsed. Captain America barely had time to register the shadow before strong hands caught him, lifted him, set him gently down. "You shouldn't be here," Steve whispered. "No," Superman replied. "You shouldn't have let it happen." Steve tried to speak, to explain, to apologize, but Superman was already gone. Thor was next. The mountain exploded outward as Superman pulled Thor free, lightning reigniting at full strength as yellow sunlight flooded Clark's cells. Thor stared. "Brother, you returned." "For now." That was all he said. They fought together, but something was different. Superman didn't lead. He didn't coordinate. He didn't wait for anyone to catch up. He fought like a force of nature, appearing where collapse was imminent, stabilizing it, and moving on. The Avengers realized the truth too late. He wasn't back with them. He was operating around them. People saw him everywhere, saving trains, stopping floods, pulling children from rubble. No cameras, no acknowledgement, just action. And still, he never came to the tower. Tony tried calling. No response. Steve tried speaking. Superman never slowed down. Bruce finally woke up, and the first thing he asked was, "Did he forgive us?" No one answered. The invasion pushed harder. Red Skull unleashed his final weapon, an engine powered by stolen alien tech and dark matter, designed to collapse Earth's magnetic field. A planet killer disguised as a beacon. Superman arrived alone. Red Skull stood before the device, arms wide. "You see, Superman? Without you, Earth lost faith. With you, they lose choice." You're the reason they will always kneel." Superman didn't attack. He floated down slowly, eyes burning brighter with every word. "I trusted them," he said, "and they feared me." Red Skull laughed. "And now," Superman said quietly, "I protect them despite themselves." The fight was brutal. Red Skull unleashed everything: energy blasts, gravity wells, weapons stolen from gods and monsters. Superman took them all, not charging, not reckless, enduring. Then he ended it. The engine collapsed inward, swallowed by its own power, torn apart molecule by molecule. Red Skull vanished with it, screaming. The world was safe, but the cost lingered. The Avengers gathered on the ruined battlefield afterward, exhausted, broken, alive because of him. Superman stood apart. Steve stepped forward. Clark. Superman raised a hand. "No more votes," he said. "No more councils. No more deciding who deserves protection." Tony swallowed hard. Then what happens now? Superman looked at Earth below them. The people, the fear, the hope still clinging to his symbol. "I stay," he said, "but I won't belong to you." Silence. "You wanted a world without a god," he continued, "so I'll be something else." Then he rose into the sky, hovering just high enough that no one could reach him, watching, guarding, but never again trusting. And far beyond Earth, in a place even Superman couldn't see yet, something smiled. The world was saved, but it didn't feel like victory. Superman had stopped the invasion. Red Skull was gone. The planet killer engine was no more. But something was broken, and it wasn't the battlefield. It was trust. Superman no longer walked among them. He didn't speak to world leaders. He didn't attend peace summits. He didn't return to the Watchtower or the Hall of Justice or even Metropolis. He simply hovered, high above Earth's orbit, just beyond reach, watching, silent, unmoving, like a ghost of a god they once exiled. People celebrated at first. Murals were painted, candles lit, hashtags flooded social media. Hashtag thank you Superman, hashtag we were wrong, hashtag come back Clark. But the man in the sky never responded. Not to cheers, not to apologies, not even to Lois. She was the only one he looked at, once, for half a second, before vanishing into the clouds. Tony tried to reach him. He launched a private satellite programmed to play one message on loop. "We were wrong. I was wrong. Come back." Superman destroyed it before the second loop. He didn't hate them, but he didn't trust them either. And deep down, they knew they didn't deserve it. Worse still, the world began to change under his gaze. Crime plummeted. Governments halted weapons programs. Nations that had been moments from war signed treaties overnight. Not because they had faith, but because they were afraid. Superman wasn't intervening, but his presence alone had become a deterrent. A god in the sky no longer answering to anyone. And that terrified people more than any invasion. The Avengers saw it first. Steve watched as presidents whispered behind closed doors. As S.H.I.E.L.D. rerouted missions to avoid aerial zones Superman might be watching. As satellites were launched under false civilian names, all to monitor him. Tony found a black site in Nevada. A full-scale contingency protocol. Kryptonite warheads. AI targeting systems. Even a synthetic duplicate of Doomsday, still growing in a biopod. "Jesus," he muttered. "They're already planning another Exile. But this time, they wouldn't vote. They'd strike first." Steve slammed the report on the tower's table. "We said we'd protect the world," he snapped. "Not enslave it with fear." Natasha didn't blink. "Then tell that to the countries pulling out of the UN." Bruce sat in silence. "We created this. We made him stand alone. And now?" The question wasn't if Superman would act. It was what would finally push him to. Then the spark happened. A rogue unit within a private military firm launched a stealth drone, cloaked, shielded, and aimed directly at Lois Lane's apartment. Not to kill her, to see if he'd react. They got their answer. The moment the drone crossed into her neighborhood, every system on the eastern seaboard went dark. Power grids collapsed. Airspace froze. EMP pulses shattered defense tech across 6 countries. The drone never touched the ground. Superman hovered above it, holding it like it was made of paper. And then he turned, not toward the military, not toward the Avengers, but toward the world. And for the first time since his return, he spoke. "I don't want your war. I don't want your worship. I only want peace. But if you aim your fear at the people I love, I will end your fear." The message was heard on every channel, every language, every screen. And just like that, panic spread. People argued whether it was a threat or a warning. Some cheered. Others called him a tyrant. Religious leaders begged him to step down. Governments issued denouncements. A few even declared him an extraterrestrial occupation. It didn't matter. Superman stopped responding, but he didn't leave. And quietly, he began to move again, not to destroy, to help. He rebuilt hospitals without asking permission, delivered clean water to war zones, deactivated nuclear silos, shut down corrupt mining operations, uprooted black market labs. Everywhere power oppressed people, he dismantled it. No alliances, no borders, just action. And the Avengers? They were stuck watching the world shift around them. They weren't the first response team anymore. They were the backup. Backup to a man who didn't need them, who no longer wanted them, and who the world now feared more than it revered. The balance had changed. Thor warned them, he is not the same. He was once of Earth. Now he is above it. Bruce whispered, if we push him again, we may not survive it. But some weren't listening. In secret, factions moved. Underground labs ramped up doomsday clones. Stark Tech was reverse engineered into weapons meant for one thing, restraint. They didn't call it revenge. They called it control. But the one thing they didn't understand was that Superman wasn't controlling them. He was giving them a chance. And that chance was running out. Because far beyond Earth's orbit, something was watching him. Something ancient. Something hungry. A presence that had waited centuries to see Earth's protector isolated. And now, Superman stood alone. The next war wouldn't be a fight for Earth. It would be a fight for him. The first tremor wasn't felt on Earth. It was felt in him. Superman paused mid-flight over the Indian Ocean. For a second, the world blurred. The wind shifted wrong. The gravity felt thinner. Time stretched. Something was off. Then came the voice. Not spoken, not heard, but felt. Inside his mind. You are not alone. He turned to the stars, and the stars blinked back. A rift opened above Jupiter. Not torn, peeled. Like the universe was making room for something older than time. A shadow spilled through. Not a ship, not a fleet. A being, towering, endless. A presence so vast, the planet below shuddered. It wasn't Darkseid. It wasn't Galactus. It was beyond names. And it had come for one thing. Superman. Back on Earth, the skies turned red. The oceans pulled toward the sky. People fell to their knees not out of reverence, but instinct. Fear ancient and cosmic. Tony saw it from his tower. That's not a threat. That's a verdict. The entity spoke again, through every frequency, every whisper, every breath. The last Kryptonian has tipped the balance. His exile was your test. You failed. The Avengers scrambled, but it didn't matter. Weapons didn't lock. Spells didn't cast. Technology refused to work. It wasn't an invasion. It was a claim. Superman stood between the Earth and the rift. Alone. No one called for him. They'd had their chance. He didn't speak. He didn't look back. He just closed his eyes and flew into the dark. Light exploded. Stars dimmed. The sky cracked open with a thunder the universe would remember. And then, silence. For 3 days, Earth was still. No word. No sign. Just stars above, quiet and distant again. Until one morning, a child in Kansas looked up and pointed. He's back. Superman stood alone in the sky. Cape torn. Armor cracked. Face tired. But alive. Below him, humanity waited, wondering if this was their end or their beginning. He said just 6 words. This time, you stand with me. And the world finally listened.